Welcome to the Flag Bearer channel. This is Little Known Black History Facts. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Lincoln Perry, also known as Stepin Fetchit, lazy stereotype or misunderstood genius. Lincoln Perry was America's first black movie star, although he never won an Oscar. But for that distinction, Perry paid a heavy price. He is best known as the character of Stepin Fetchit, a befuddled, mumbling, shiftless fool. The Stepin Fetchit character remains one of the most fascinating, infuriating, polarizing, pathetic, and perplexing characters in movie history. Seen through a modern-day lens, Perry's laziest man in the world character can be painfully racist. Perry was a veteran of the vaudeville chitlin circuit. The chitlin circuit grew out of a time when black people were not allowed to perform at white establishments. From the 1930s until the 1960s, the chitlin circuit was the network consisting of black-owned nightclubs, dance halls, juke joints, and theaters in the South, on the East Coast, and parts of the Midwest. African-American musicians and other performers flourished at these welcoming venues in the era of Jim Crow. Lincoln Perry got his break in Hollywood in 1927 when he was cast in the silent film titled In Old Kentucky. Perry created the character of Stepin Fetchit to make himself stand out from other black actors vying for the role. Most Americans thought of Stepin Fetchit as a symbol of the negative side of the African American experience, but research has shown Perry to be very different from his Fetchit character. He was a complex man, intelligent, and he was anything but what people took him to be. Lincoln Perry, the terrifically successful film actor and tap dancer who used shuffle and buck and wing steps to immortalize a character that was deemed the world's laziest man, was born Lincoln Theodore Monroe Andrew Perry. His father was Jamaican-born and his mother was Bahamian-born. The family moved to Tampa, Florida. After his mother died in 1914, the children were placed in a foster home. By 1916, at age 14, Perry became a tent show performer. Later, in Alabama, he worked for an old Arkansas medicine show that traveled from town to town with a 2-act show that set up shop in the back of a wagon. For Perry, these shows provided a chance to break into show business. He was also writing as an entertainment critic for the Chicago Defender, one of the nation's leading black weekly newspapers at that time. One of the most crucial components of Perry's Stepin Fetchit persona was the ability to talk in a language white people couldn't understand, and Perry was exceptional at jive talking. One of the reasons why black Americans are so angry with Fetchit is that white audiences at the time truly believed that his bumbling fool was a true representation of black people in America. Fetchit acted as if he didn't know where he was. When Lincoln Perry first started working in silent movies in the 1920s, there was excitement for him as a black man working in the movies. The Hollywood system before him had closed to the idea of a black star. The Stepin Fetchit character was dumb and lazy. His neck stooped, his big lips drooped to show his big white teeth, and his big eyes bulged. His clothes were shabby and big, and apparent hand-me-downs from some of the white characters he served and was abused by. He was often unintelligible with a tendency to rub his head to search for answers. Lincoln Perry as Stepin Fetchit appeared in 44 films. Perry may have earned well over $1 million in his career, but he spent the money as fast as he could earn it. He was a regular attendee of the wild parties that went down in Hollywood. Although by movie star standards he lived in a modest bungalow with his father, sister, and employees, he had extravagant taste in cars and clothes. It was normal for Perry to wear a designer outfit that cost over $1,000, an absolute fortune for that time. Keep in mind that the average annual salary in 1935 was around $1,500. Perry was the first black movie star, appearing in dozens of films across the 1920s and the 1930s. He was a millionaire during the Great Depression, which afforded him the ability to drive a fleet of expensive cars, wear the finest top hats, employ a dozen Chinese maids and butlers, and frolic with starlets. He made $2 million in 5 years in the middle 30s. He was also the first even to receive screen credit in a movie. Fetchit was an extremely gifted comic actor. Some scholars believe he was an embodiment of the trickster who pretended to be slow-minded to ensure his white employers had to do the work. Black American historians believe Fetchit was the evolution of the coon character. Fetchit went down in infamy, and Perry mishandled his fortune and died penniless. Lincoln Perry built his empire under a stage name representing a persona that became one of the most reviled in cinematic history. He is, for better or worse, the first black actor who makes a name for himself, has a definite star persona, and lives as a high-style movie star. The name Stepin Fetchit came to be the ultimate term for negative racial stereotypes, and nobody wanted anything to do with Lincoln Perry, and he was devastated by that. The Stepin Fetchit image came to be seen as so sufficiently degrading that the dozens of Perry's films made from 1925 to 1976 are rarely shown and have not received widespread video releases. Despite the mumbling, ostensibly cowardly screen character that was immortalized in his screen characters, Perry displayed aggressive racial and cultural pride in off-screen relationships with both whites and blacks throughout his career. He most successfully parlayed considerable talent and folk wit into screen stardom during a period of brutal racial oppression. In 1947, when film-movie roles dried up, Fetchit declared bankruptcy and later made his living performing in nightclubs. In 1970, Lincoln Perry filed a $3 million defamation lawsuit against CBS for allegedly holding him up to hatred, contempt, and ridicule in the documentary that they had produced. Any attempts at a comeback failed for Perry. Still, he got a Stepin Fetchit star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1960, received a Special Image Award from the Hollywood chapter of the NAACP in 1976, and was inducted into the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame in 1978. Lincoln Perry is buried in an unmarked grave in Calvary Cemetery in East Los Angeles, California.
Oh, would y'all bring that big box in and have all? We ain't got no candy to fit in no box that big.
This is not for candy.
Until next time, if you like little-known history facts as I do, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Press the bell to be notified of future uploads. Thank you for watching.